It's a business that must be taken seriously, whether in the church or outside of the church. And let me say this for clarity's sake. There is no better time than now in the history of our nation than now to take politics very seriously, because a lot of calamity is happening every day. And I can say that Nigeria as a nation is sitting on a keg of gunpowder. Bro, Yomi said something the other time. Tsunami may happen anytime, and I'm paraphrasing. I may not be getting his words very well. But what he's trying to say is that we all must be very alerted. We all must be very serious. And drift is being organized to actually sharpen our consciousness as young people to take the matter of nation building very seriously. By the virtue of what I do, I've been privileged to have worked at the National Assembly for a short moment. And I can see, and I expressed my sad feelings to some of our brothers here, that Nigeria is sick. It is not just ordinary sickness. I mean terminal ailment. And Nigeria is waiting for you and I to get her free, to get her liberated from the oppression. Let me say this. The categories of young people we have in this country. We have those that are informed. We have those that are concerned. We have those that are informed and concerned. We have those that are not informed and concerned. And we have those that are not informed and they are not concerned. You see, the most useful of all these categories, they are those that are informed and they are concerned. And I want to believe that that is a category that you and I belong. For other categories that I've mentioned, they are disaster waiting to happen. They are the ones pulling us back. And it is your responsibility and my responsibility to drag these people along as we journey into the Nigeria of our dream. I've been instructed to speak on history of Nigerian politics and the way forward. For those that are not students of history, let me take you through the journey of Nigeria. Nigeria got amalgamated in 1914, and of course, we have had series of engagement from one position to the other. Ever since then, we have been, some scholars, they gathered together, they've accused the colonial masters of being the one behind our predicament as a nation, which I beg to disagree at this particular time. That position may have been correct, but over 60 years of independence is enough for us to know where we are going as a nation. And let me say this again. Some have actually blamed the founding fathers of Nigeria. No. Let me say this very expressly. Those who fought for the liberation, or perhaps negotiated, depending on the language we want to use, actually did a very good job. It is we who succeeded them. It is those who succeeded them, who took over the mantle of leadership, that have repeated, and I'm saying it again, that have repeatedly and consistently failed this nation. And that is what we don't want to happen. That is why drift is being organized, so that you and I can be strategically positioned to actually take over leadership. All of us cannot be pastors, not possible. All of us cannot be bishops. All of us cannot be reverend. Some of us must be within the political environment to influence decisions that will better our lot as a nation, and particularly as Christians. And that is what our people in the other side, that is one very unique thing about them. They know how to organize. We are not organized enough, not even enough. We are not organized at all to actually champion the cause for better nationhood. What are you waiting for? We have had series of military juntas in Nigeria since 1963 down to 1999. The Shagari administration was abolished by military junta. We had Nnamdi Azikiwe. We had a lot of them like that. And the 1993 election, that's the one that was meant to bring MK Abiola in, was actually abolished by General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, and several other things that happened. 1999, we had opportunity again to actually go back into another republic. That's the first republic that we are in at the moment. But unfortunately, there are several opinions around what has bedeviled our lives as a nation Since we returned back to Fourth Republic, many have argued that Nigeria, since 1999, we have never had intended leaders. And I beg to agree with that position. We have only had circumstantial leaders. And let me explain to you. When Obasanjo was in Yola prison, Obasanjo, because of his military involvement as the head of state, some mathematics, arithmetic took place, and they needed to compensate Southwest. They said, okay, we have Obasanjo in Yola prison. Let us set him free. He became the president. Though democracy was yet to be a lifestyle at that particular time. But after he completed his administration, he thought of compensating his friend, his late friend, Shehu Yaradua. He thought, okay, what do I do? He brought in his brother, that is Umaru Musa Yaradua, who thought, okay, after my time serving the governor of Katsina State, I would love to go back to the classroom as a lecturer. But he was brought in because he never thought he was going to be president. He was only schooled into that idea, and he accepted it. But to the glory of God, he did his best. And the same thing that happened to Goodluck Jonathan. He was the deputy governor in Bayelsa State. Because of what happened to Alamesia, he became the governor. And Obasanjo, in his own political arithmetic, okay, who is the loyal person that will take leadership when F challenge be dealt Shehu Umaru Musa Yaradua? He became the president. And in 2015, it is because Nigerians were tired of the administration of Goodluck Jonathan as a result of skyrocketing economic manipulation, insecurity in the country, and all lots that was happening there. That is what landed us to where we are at present in our national life. Now may I ask you a question? What has changed in Nigeria since 2015? I am not here to criticize any government. I'm only running us through history for us to know that things are not going well as expected in the nation. And it's as a result of the docility of you and I. We have been docile for too long. The church continues to preach against young people, Christians participating in politics. And that is why we continue to experience every knock almost on daily basis. The earlier we wake up from our slumber, the better for all of us. Otherwise, we continue to suffer, we continue to be the victim of maladministration, of bad governance. And ever since that time, what has changed? Many things have happened in this nation. We practice politics of enmity. Politics run on the basis of ethnicity and religion. No serious nation put religion forward. No serious nation put ethnicity forward. What is very important is national development, national agenda. Everybody will need to live with the consciousness that, okay, Nigeria was the better. Unfortunately, none of our leaders, both past and present, ever gave us that, idea, ever presented that idea to us. Of course, we lack political ideology. Ask our political parties, what do they want to do? In America, the two political parties we know of is the Republican and the Democrat. And it is impossible, somewhat impossible, for you to jump from Republican political party to Democrat almost on daily basis, even yearly basis. It's not possible. You have to maintain a period of time. What I'm saying in essence is this: our political parties, they lack ideology, and it is at the political party. There's always a saying in Yoruba language that be alia sheri aro latimamu. What is happening within the political party's environment, what is happening within our political party, is a clear image of what is happening to us in our nation. Yes or no? Yes. You are not speaking in capital letter. Yes or no? Yes. And we have been charged. Bro Yomi already charged us of what value is you being a Christian and you cannot effect the change in your own community. Of what value is myself being a Christian that I cannot lead any change wherever I find myself. We have bad leadership, of course. That is the hallmark of our national predicament. That is bad leadership. We have ethnic religion, I've said that, and bad civil service. And I think I would love to treat this more. No nation will ever get to the top with the type of civil service that we have in this nation. I've been privileged to have worked in certain environments. I meet with some of these people almost on a daily basis. And I can tell you very categorically that the civil service we have in this nation is not sustainable. But can we blame all these people? If when the head is not correct, when the head is sick, the entire body system will suffer the consequences. And that is why you go to university. You want to sign a course form, and somebody will tell you, it's either you pay in cash or you pay in kind. This is a slap on our face. And some of us will argue that, okay, Nigeria, because of this, because of that, we are too young a democracy. Says who? Says who? That statement is not acceptable. Nations that got independence almost the same time with us, or even shortly after us or before us, the likes of Singapore, the likes of Malaysia, even go to Tanzania there. President John Magufuli, the late president of Tanzania, became the president of Tanzania in 2015. Just like General Muhammadu Buhari, he rode into power in 2015. And it is obvious, except you are not very familiar with the digital space, the atmosphere in Tanzania as of today is very cloudy because they lost a leader. Somebody who strategically positioned them for greatness. I hope that Nigeria will one day have the life of John Pombe Magufuli. Perhaps I may be the one because I'm interested in politics. Perhaps you may be the one. What are you waiting for, even if you are not the one? Who should be there if not you? Who should be there if not me? This is a wake-up call to every one of us. Nigeria as a nation is blessed with virtually everything that can turn our life around. In terms of geostrategic positioning, Nigeria is well positioned. Nigeria is not a landlocked nation. We have seen nations that are even landlocked, but they are doing well. We are surrounded with different oceans. The River Niger is there, the Atlantic Ocean is there, and several other things. And research has shown that nations that are very close to the coastal region, they are more prosperous than nations that are landlocked. But what do we have to show for what we have been endowed with as a nation? In terms of population, Nigeria is mightily blessed, the largest black nation in the world. But we are not taking advantage of all of this. All we know is politics of division, politics of destruction. Nigeria can never move forward with this type of idea. When the global environment in 21st century, they are talking of how to take over the economic in the digital space. We are still busy fighting about hijab in this part of the world. What a shame. We are still busy talking about things that are somewhat unprofitable to us. The only thing, according to the corruption index, we are always on top. Open defecation, Nigeria always on top. Corruption on top. Poverty on top. Who bewitched us? It is not just enough to talk about all of these problems. We are solution providers. We are solution givers. And that was why Christ came. That is why you and I, we are called Christians. That is why I am a Christian. That is why I am a child of God. It is not just enough to talk about all of this. In just a few minutes, I will want to run us through certain things that I have here. Our Constitution, research has shown that, or rather, people have given different comments about the Constitution we are operating on. The Constitution is no longer acceptable. Cannot provide solution to our problem as a nation. 1999 Constitution. 1999 date is how many years? Help my mathematical knowledge. 22 years. After 22 years, we are still talking about 1999 Constitution. And by population now, Nigeria is over 200 million, according to reports. Do you want to tell me that the Constitution that was used for maybe 170 million or 160 million people will still be useful for over 200 million population. It is not possible. And it is a slap on our face with the level of insecurity that Nigeria is facing at the moment. A nation that once delivered South Africa from apartheid, a nation that once liberated Gambia, a nation that once liberated Liberia, a nation that once liberated several nations in the world, in Africa, now gasping for bread. I travel almost on a daily basis, and sometimes I'm going on the road. I'm just praying, God, in your hand I commit my spirit, because you don't know what may happen to you along the road. Sometimes ago, let me say this joke. I was traveling with my boss to Osogbo from Ekiti. We got to a particular place, the road became empty. It was only a vehicle that was on the road. And my guy wanted to ease himself. In my mind, I was just like, and we're carrying government vehicle. I was just like, Oga, in my mind, because that is the situation, and that is how an average Nigerian thinks at this particular time, because you cannot guarantee what will happen to you. Who bewitched us? There is a need for gradual and total overhaul of our system. I once said it that the civil service is not sustainable. Even our education system, they are feeding us with education that is free of knowledge. That is why some of our graduates, and I'm saying this with all clarity, are very unproductive. We don't blame them. However, on the other hand, we blame them because government does not have a biological child. You are the one that will spend your life very straight and make better things, bring something better, be better productive, because the world is daily becoming competitive, and it is only those who are prepared or who are preparing themselves that can ever occupy the seat of power, whether positively or negatively. Those who are behind that predicament, they know how to manipulate things. They started regrouping again. 2023 is here. You've seen them embracing themselves. It is not because they love us. It is because of our common patrimony. And I tell you, every one of us seated here this afternoon, we are all debtors. Being a Nigerian has turned you to a debtor. You are going to pay for it. I will pay for it. Somebody in his mind, I think you are saying God for me. It's not a matter of God for me. Do you know how many billions of dollars that Nigeria is owing? Even our children, I'm not a prophet of doom, they will pay for it. Because Nigeria has been wounded. Nigeria has been starved. And now we are gasping for bread. We don't value our best. We value mediocrity over meritocracy. How will I want to engage a medical doctor to treat me, and I'll be looking for the one that will kill me? We have always succeeded in looking or in placing people that are daily injuring us, wounding us in the position of leadership. And that is why we are here. Take Nigeria as a sick patient, looking for the best medical practitioner to liberate him or her. To liberate her from her sickness. You are the doctor. I am the doctor. And every one of us, we are the doctors that Nigeria needed at this particular time. Now, there is need for us to actually, as young people, to engage in politics. You have the call of God upon your life. Good. But do you remember when COVID-19 pandemic took over, the church was under lock and key? That was a power of policy in place. No matter how prayerful you may be, if Kwara State government at this time tells us that they want this service to stop as I'm holding the microphone, there is nothing you and I can do. That is the power of policy. Your Bible says, I see men when you are about dancing. They will put it at the back of your house, and God forbid, if it is born, it will explode and kill the person. So this is the time for us to participate. Ask questions, engage, criticize, constructively. This is digital age, and that is one very weapon that we are not using responsibly as young people of this nation. We have how many percentage of us? Over 60% of Nigerians are young people, but are we taking advantage of that? Do you want to tell me that if we are very serious, nothing stops us from saying, okay, in Lagos, this is the person we are presenting, we will disrupt Lagos landlord. If in Kwara, you are saying that, okay, for young people, this is the person we are going with, and you know that it is very easy for you to challenge a young person like yourself than to look into an elder's eyes. I cannot, the way I will talk to Pastor Molabi, I cannot talk to Pastor Nico Ejo like that. Because in terms of age, in terms of height, and you know how to summarize, it's very tall. In terms of wealth of experience, I cannot look into his eyes. Because I'll just be like, you know, there's this cultural inclination in us, like, this guy, but if it is a young person like myself, I have that skill. We scatter it and we rearrange it. That is what politics is all about. But as we are doing all of this, we must do it with the mind of God, because that is what makes the difference. As we are doing all of this, we must do it with sound moral value. By the grace of God, I meet with politicians. And I can tell you, even that thing you are thinking in your mind, that is what I want to say. So you can do it. I see things. We see things on daily basis. Corruption in this nation is on industrial scale. Every second, every minute, every hour, our commonwealth is being shared. And I can say one thing for sure, they will live to suffer the consequences. Where is General Babangida today? He's on the wheelchair. Despite all the money, all the influence, all the affluence, all the manipulation, all the military junta, all the annulment of election, where is he today? If we do well, history will remember us for good. And if we do otherwise, history will equally keep the record. Because history does only two things. Does one thing, it keeps record. But whether it's of good or evil, it is you that will determine that. Then, lastly, we need to demand for accountability, equity, and justice. And that is what is happening in Kwara State now. There's one diplomat I love so much, Maitama Sule, late Maitama Sule. He said, peace can only be present in an environment where there is equity and justice. If what belongs to two of us, you want to take it all alone, it is practically impossible for that nation to be peaceful. If what should be our common heritage, just one person wants to take hold of it, it is practically impossible. There can never be peace. Even within the home, if the man always wants to do the man show, your wife will equally tell you that I'm a woman. You can never enjoy that peace. Equity, justice, accountability. These are things that actually matches a nation forward. But unfortunately, in the class of leaders we have in this nation, except for few, very few, that already distinguish themselves, Nigeria is actually gasping for breath. And as the Bible says, we are the salt of the earth. Sir, I think we have the national anthem ready. We are the salt of the earth. It is our duty to ensure that we garnish, we better, we improve, we make things work in any environment where we find ourselves. You may think that politics is irrelevant, but on a daily basis, everything you do is determined by what happens within the political space. I'm not talking of prayer, I'm not being spiritual now. I'm talking of politics. We have gathered this afternoon to conscientize ourselves, to actually make us realize that without us there is nothing for us. We have made us understand that it is only in living consciously or in national consciousness that Nigeria can ever get better. It is only in taking the matter of state, matter of nation very seriously, just as you take your spiritual life very seriously, that is when we can ever march forward. Otherwise, our life will continue to be manipulated as dice that may never have a rest. Nigeria is not at rest. Nigeria is sick, and we may, and I'm saying this, we may not have a solution anytime soon, except you and I, we are ready. I want to chat all of you this afternoon. Our national anthem, Arise, O Compatriot. Are you a compatriot? Are you obeying the call for better Nigeria? I want to urge all of us, it is very important. We only sing the national anthem as an anthem, but I want us to rise and sing this anthem with all consciousness in us, with all zest, with all passion in us. I want you to see it, that it is not just singing, but rather it is a spiritual pronouncement that is going to have effect in our life, whether politically, economically, and anywhere you find yourself, anywhere I find myself, or anywhere we find ourselves. Shall we all rise on our feet? Mistral, please, my voice is not that good. Help me. And as you sing this anthem, as we recite this anthem, I urge you to see it as a covenant that you are taking between yourself and your nation. An average American believes that in God I trust because he lives with that consciousness. Anywhere an American finds a fellow American, they live with common brotherhood at heart. They live with common brotherhood at heart. And I want to urge us this afternoon. It is our duty, it is my duty for us to salvage, to save Nigeria from our predicament.
Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria's fallen away to